Hello everybody, my name is Ben Bauer, and I am creating this video because I wanted to share my story in hopes of inspiring others to come to the conclusion that I did, that we are far more powerful than we think we are. I had an event happen in my life where I was struggling in all areas of my life. You could pretty much every single one, and literally hours away from death. My wife rushed me to the ER. They pulled my blood work, and the doctors told my poor wife that they've never seen someone alive with blood work like this, and are my affairs in order? So that was kind of my starting point. And I'd spent 10 years, over 10 years, fascinated by quantum physics, neuroscience, epigenetics. What's consciousness? Like, what are we even doing here? What is this experience we're having? And what kind of control or role do we play in that? And so I had a baseline of knowledge to where I understood that I was the creator of my reality. But like many people, I kind of didn't embody it, like most people actually. I just kind of, pretended it was a great dinner philosophy or dinner conversation. So I had this medical event happen where literally hours away from death, had three pretty serious diagnoses. I was septic. I had a thing called disseminated intravascular coagulation, which is where the proteins in your red blood cells coagulate, causing your capillaries to burst. And if one of those goes off in your head, it's pretty much game over. Close the curtains. And then I had the most aggressive form of leukemia on top of that, super rare, like 800 to 1,000 cases a year. So that was kind of my starting point, struggling in all areas of my life and near death. And because I had this baseline of knowledge, I realized that I could impact the change to not only get out of that situation, but thrive. And through changing kind of my philosophy, kind of becoming somebody different, creating a new identity, I was able to not only live through that event, obviously, because I'm here telling this story, but I was able to get out of the hospital in about 35 days. And after about 2.5 years total from the time I was diagnosed and put in the hospital to 2.5 years later, I was pretty much thriving in all areas of my life. My relationships, financially, health, everything had absolutely turned around. And in fact, an industry that I had spent 27 years in, and I'd done fairly well in it, but very, kind of on and off and volatile in the industry. But after that 2.5 year period, I was ranked within the top 1% of all people in that industry. And I wasn't doing really anything different. I just became somebody different. I didn't let my external environment control how I thought and felt. Many people do that. And it's very natural. We've been taught, this person's pissing us off, get upset at that person, right? Or this situation is making upset, get upset at that situation. The problem with that arrangement is that makes us the victim of all those circumstances. And if we're the victim, we certainly can't be the master at the same time, because those two don't cohabitate the same space. And so when I was in the hospital, I just came to this epiphany that I had to decide how I was going to think and feel independent of the circumstances in my life, and become a new identity. And in fact, I referenced that period of my life as my sabbatical. And so I needed a sabbatical from who I thought I was, and I had to become somebody different. No cell phones, no laptops, none of that stuff. Wasn't watching TV. I was a pretty dire situation, lost 40 pounds in 6 days, and but was able to turn around. And they thought I was going to be in the hospital, if I was going to make it, for probably 3 to 4 months. Ended up only being in the hospital for 35 days. And then I got out of the hospital and got my bone marrow biopsy, and was basically cancer-free in just about 45 days, and have been perfect ever since. Went through 8 months of chemotherapy with 0 side effects. I had the blood work to show it, and my blood pressure is totally normal. The nurses would say it was in the green, is kind of the industry lingo. For 8 months, I would go in and get arsenic IVs 5 days a week, along with other things, and had no suppressed immune system, no neuropathy, no nausea, none of that stuff. And there was a process that I created to do that when I went through all that. And actually, one of the head nurses came up to me when I was in the infusion center, and she said, "Don't take this the wrong way, but we're literally poisoning you, and yet your body's acting totally normal." And so this is how powerful we truly are. And so it's my hope through this story and others that I'm going to share over time that you become to understand how truly powerful you are, and that we're not the victim of our circumstances unless we allow ourselves to be. And that's the reality we want to create. We're truly the creator of our reality, and that's all driven by our identity. And are we looking to our external environment to decide how we should think and feel and identify, or are we choosing to identify a certain way? And if we do that well enough, our reality actually over time begins to match the identity that we become. So anyway, just wanted to share a little bit of this story, and I will be sharing more stories and processes and things like that over the coming videos to hopefully inspire you to change and realize that you can have the life you want. You just got to do a little work towards it. And it's not even work. It's actually fun once you understand how this works, that this is basically a virtual reality video game that we're in. And our joystick is our identity and our state of being. And if we change that, then we change the video game as well. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day and look forward to sharing more information.